This story is ultimately about the magnificence of our system of justice. I knew, first of all, that the conventional wisdom from the start was there just cannot be a fair trial in this case. As a trial judge, it was my biggest concern. The big picture was there's a fair trial. But guess what? The key component to a fair trial is a fair and impartial jury. And so selecting a fair and impartial jury for this case, I must tell you that I was concerned about it from the beginning and worried that we would not be able to do it. Terry Nichols, who was sitting in that courtroom, he probably had on his mind that he wasn't going to get a fair trial. But I told him directly that day that he would have a fair trial or he would have no trial at all. And I made that assurance to him that day. There would be a fair trial or no trial at all. And I said that in the open courtroom because I wanted everybody to hear it. I wanted Mr. Nichols to hear it, I wanted the prosecutors to hear it, and I wanted the spectators in the gallery to hear it. Because it was important to me to have everybody understand at the beginning that I was here to see to it there was a fair trial. I had no interest in what the verdict was. I had no interest in what the outcome of the case was. And if a dismissal of the case because we couldn't have a fair trial was what was required, I was prepared to do that. I had to be careful that the law was followed. I had to be careful that there were no errors committed, because the last thing I wanted to do is have this case tried and have it tried in a way that if there was a conviction that there was reversible error, there would be an appeal, a reversal, and we'd be right back starting all over again. It was important to me that this trial be publicly reported. If there was going to be any confidence in what happened, and particularly if I ended up having to dismiss this case, it was in the interest of the justice system that the public know everything that went on. There were 8 federal officers who were killed, and the federal court had jurisdiction over those 8 officers, but there were 160 civilians killed, and the federal court did not have jurisdiction over those 160 counts of murder. And so the 160 civilians their cases had never been tried. But there was a lot of debate about it because people said, well, Nichols and McVeigh's already been convicted. Why are we spending the money to try them for these 160 counts? And so there was a lot of debate about it. Well, the Oklahoma County DA had 160 murder cases laying on his desk. Well, I tell you today, I think he made the right decision. How do you say to those 160 families, how do you say to those 160 cases, well, it just costs too much to try these? And if the day ever comes in our society that we make decisions about our courts and about justice on what it costs, then that is a time we need to maybe reassess things.